All right, this is SFBarkast. I am Jeff Cleary.
I'm Andrew Lauder.
And Andrew, where are we today?
We're at Grant and Green.
Grant and Green. What are the cross streets?
Cross streets are Fillmore and Taylor.
Also, Andrew, what is the number for 911?
It would be 900, I think, if you're in Europe.
Oh, thank you very much. Yes, Grant and Green in the lovely North Beach.
Indeed. A stalwart. A historical bar that's been here forever.
All right, before we get into that bullshit, let me bring in our guest.
That was all the research I did, by the way.
Exactly. How much research did you do? Well, I know where it is.
Yeah, exactly. Cross streets, check.
Kevin Whittinghill, you are our guest today, and you are a mover, a shaker, a tastemaker, comedian in San Francisco. I've seen you perform numerous times, and I think you're hilarious. I do.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's all the time we have.
And I have one person
Thanks for
so far thinking that, so I appreciate that.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm going to go back outside and keep busking.
Okay. Can I say something about this? When every once in a while, every time we do a podcast, I will go over to the bartender and say, "Hey, we're just going to record our voices," and I'm getting a little sick of bartenders being like, who cares?
You want to be more important?
No,
maybe I didn't make myself clear. Show business is happening over here.
And
close the bar down.
And of course, it's not the bartender's fault. It's like, I was there at Doc's Lab when Michael Bauer was there. And Charlie, who's the manager there, I watched as Charlie just doted on him because, he's Michael Bauer. He swings a big bat. And I almost said to Charlie, it's
swings his big chronicle dick around.
I almost said to Charlie, look, if you just keep kissing his ass, you're not going to have any time to blow him.
Well,
when are we going to get
rusty trumpet. That's what that's called.
Right. When are we going to get that type of reception? Ooh, SFBarkast is here.
I know. That's
Sit right down, sir or ma'am.
Exactly.
Your podcast revenue must be through the roof.
Exactly. Hey, everybody, I don't want to alarm you. Don't look. But there's a podcast going on.
Podcast happening.
I told you not to look.
Did you smell desperation in here?
Right,
it's in this corner, right here. And there's electronics, too.
I remember being really offended when we went to, I think it was McTeague's, and they were shooting the Real World there, and they acted like we weren't co-workers. We're both making entertainment.
You can be a gaffer.
Exactly.
We're both in the industry.
That's right. I think I deserve this lunch as much as anybody.
When were they shooting Real World? When was that?
This was a couple years ago.
Really?
In Poke Gulch or whatever.
Poke Gulch, yeah.
Before pod, probably before it became a big thing, podcasts.
Well,
they should have been jumping on it.
Back in the early days of podcasts.
Yeah.
Before those blowhards showed up, people were looking at us like, ooh, look at this. They've got equipment over there.
Headphones,
and then they walk in with their $10,000 camera.
Their beta cams or whatever.
Hookers.
Oh, the hookers are good.
With their digital
cameras. You guys need
cameras.
hookers. That's what you're missing from your podcast.
Yeah, we need really
think,
loud, dumb girls that fight a lot.
Oh, I was actually just going to offer my services. But, you can work your way up.
Well,
exactly.
I
Googled drinking alcohol.
I Googled dumb girl that fights a lot.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, dumb
your
girl.
site.
Do you kind of feel like that is it's like a career choice? Like if you do something stupid and you're like an attractive woman, everybody will know who you are. I mean, it happened today.
Right.
This woman who is works for ESPN. Her name is Brittany.
Brittany, in of itself, is a dumb, stupid
name. Exactly. And so she's caught
Take
on...
that,
Yeah.
Brittany Murphy. No, she's dead.
Name a scientist named Brittany.
By the way, dying is not good for your
Brittany
career.
Curie,
Exactly.
their daughter.
The daughter.
Okay, so her name is Brittany McHenry. Yeah. And so she got caught on tape.
No relation to Steve McHenry?
Nope.
All right, go ahead.
Just when you thought Steve McHenry couldn't get any more Irish. Right. So she got caught on tape being really abusive to this woman who worked for this towing company. She had her car towed, and then she went in to get it, and she was super abusive, and she was saying, "Honey, I'm on the news. I
can break you."
But she's like, "I could sue this whole place."
Yeah.
She's like, first off,
how are those two things even related? It's I'm on the news, I could sue you. Well, yeah, everybody could.
First off, you're on the news. You're a blonde bimbo on the sideline reporter for ESPN.
ESPN, yeah.
And that's not exactly the news
of a sort,
is it? I mean, nobody would talk to you if you weren't attractive until.
Right.
entertainment news.
But like now, everybody, like, she got suspended for a week, but now everybody knows her name. Now we're talking about her.
See, I thought you were talking about the woman that I read about in. I mean, it had to be Florida. I think it was Georgia actually. That was, I don't know, claimed she was really shit-faced drunk, and then like played like naked Twister with her like a son and all of his friends, and then
No,
like
with her
fucked half of them.
it was with her daughter and some
saw
of
the
her
headline.
daughter's teenage friends.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Wow,
Oh, okay, then
this
it's
is
much better
great.
the way you say
Like
it.
you know, like
Planned Parenthood, my ass.
see, I've read
Keep
books
them
and
coming.
heard legends of these like videos
Naked
that
Twister
on
parties.
the interwebs where a woman shows her stepdaughter like the
Yeah.
sex position.
Not only that-
I've read books about this.
She's old enough, like her breast could be sagging and hitting like the red dot, and the blue dot. She's got
That counts,
she's
right?
Like
Like-
6, yeah. Whatever's going on down there, the tampon string is just draping across
Aye,
the
aye,
aquamarine
aye.
dot.
The aquamarine dot.
And there's some 14-year-old boy who's lost his boner completely. That's what's happening.
Totally.
Exactly. You know, like you.
A lot of 14-year-old boys with boners listen to this podcast, by the way. It's
She
number
was
one.
probably like, yeah, I'm going to show these 14-year-old boys the time of their life. And the next thing you know, you have 3 14-year-old boys crying.
Yeah. Yeah, you didn't matter who was naked. It was just the boys on there. It was kind of weird. Yeah. It was
a bit.
I don't know. That goes really south. Like, I mean, I don't know how you even get into, like, I've done my fair share of drinking and drugs. And at
Yeah.
no point would I be like, you know, it'd be great if I had a kid, like having an orgy.
Yeah. I mean, I understand if she were like the stepmom.
Yeah, I
That
can
makes
see
sense,
that.
but you're crossing the line with the biological thing.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Well, and like the funny thing was like in the story, like she seemed like her defense was basically like, well, yeah, I was fucked up, I was drunk. It's like,
Pretty good
well,
defense,
okay,
actually.
well, you know,
Yeah.
That all depends on the judge that you get.
Yeah.
If the judge is like, yeah, I've been there.
we'll just write it off
Nick
as
with
drunks
Twister
being
last
drunks.
Sunday. I was completely sober.
Case dismissed, and give me your
Yeah.
phone number.
Phone number, exactly.
Okay, what's next on the docket? Drunk driving, or as I like to call it, drunks being drunks.
But how did they find out? Did someone take a photo, or what happened? Some kid.
I mean, I would imagine the
One
kid
of the
in the
photo
bathroom
watch.
probably couldn't stop high-fiving people.
Yeah, I guess so. But
Exactly. The kid went to school with like his rotator cuff
how
thrown
old
out.
was the mom?
It was like she looked like she was in her late 20s,
Exactly.
maybe.
See,
Like, I mean,
see?
but
Here,
like,
you've
but
had them when
somehow
they're
had like an
14.
18-year-old
Yeah.
kid. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Here's the thing about that story, and did you have the same reaction when you saw the headline and it said, "Mom, like, you know, brought up on charges for having like naked Twister with like teenage boys"? I clicked on it thinking, I got to see what this woman looks like.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
first I undid my pants, and then I
Then,
I was
yeah,
like,
yeah. You're
well, I don't
prepared.
want to waste time. Like, I don't want.
Yeah, you brought out your pipe, your reading pipe.
Oh, good thing.
You got out your hand lotion, and you were
I knew
set.
there was a reason why I layered the entire floor with towels.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Reading
Laid
fart
down a
all the
tarp.
time. Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's same with the teachers having sex with the students. Like that's outrageous that she's so hot. Like that's what the outrageous thing is. If she were ugly, like that's horrible. Good. If she's hot, then I'm offended.
Exactly.
Like,
It's like,
yeah.
she needs to go to jail for not having sex with me, as opposed to having sex with some
But
like.
she's in rural Georgia. I mean, like,
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
you got to
What
like,
else
She
is
needs
there
to
to do?
travel to where I am is what I'm trying.
like, Doc's Lab tickets available,
Doc's
people.
Lab. I got an OK Cupid date out of a Doc's Lab performance.
see, Doc's Lab, we
Half price for drunk women from Georgia.
Yeah,
we serve comedy, and we're also matchmakers.
that's right.
right.
And she's into comics, so her standards can't be that high. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. It's like it's already like a red light. You're into me. That's a bad sign.
Kevin, would you
Yeah.
would you yourself ever date a comic?
That's a good question. First thing, there has to be attractive female comics.
I mean,
There
let's
are.
say
There
there are. Yes.
That was my.
I mean,
Take
in
that,
this
Natasha
scena-
Leggero.
you like that?
in
No,
this
if
scenario.
there was a comic that I was attracted to, that is.
Yes.
I could. I'd be a little reticent though.
Would
if
you
you're
be
in
a
the
little
scene.
worried that like whatever
Yeah.
something like your role play would end up as like a
Yeah.
closing joke?
Yeah, like she smashes me because I'm wearing like a bunny outfit during sex, and that's her
Like,
punchline.
hey, do you want to have sex? What a
You know,
terrible
it's
premise.
like that's my premise, bitch.
Also, like, don't you like you never think about this when you go into like a relationship, but if you're dating a comic and you break up, like, and if maybe it's like a bad breakup, like all that's material now. So then she's like, yeah, this last guy I dated had the smallest dick.
Well, yeah, and I know. If she does material about me, she'll
Like
certainly
that guy right there.
she'll certainly have a herpes bit. You know, that's definitely like the long 10-minute herpes bit. I'm kidding. I do not have herpes.
Not yet.
Just getting that out there. They're just bumps.
They go away.
I've heard, you know,
Right. It's
I've heard on average, you know, if you go up regularly and everything like that, you'll have herpes by the time, like your 5th or 6th year in comedy. Like
that's a first date conversation.
Did I
right
tell
there.
you this story already? I have a friend who lives in L.A. and one of his best friends in L.A. is a pharmacist in like Marina Del Rey, and he told him, "Look, of course I can't give out any names, but virtually
because
all."
it'll come out on the
And he
SFBarkast
also
if I
said-
do.
Yeah,
And
so
also,
give
he
the
said,
names.
and definitely don't tell someone who has got a podcast.
Yeah.
But this pharmacist said, I can't give any names, of course, but virtually all the celebrities that come to my pharmacy have a prescription for, what is it, Valtrex?
Right.
Which is the
I mean,
herpes
I don't know.
herpes.
Herpes
Wow.
medication.
Oh yeah, I think I've heard of that from other people,
Yeah,
from other
yeah,
sources.
right.
Well,
Nice Valtrex shirt you're wearing, by the way.
Thank you.
I,
I got it free with purchase.
That's right.
I actually told
Valtrex for life.
Greg Edwards and Chris Garcia were over the house one time. We were watching football, and I told that story to them.
Yeah.
And Chris just goes, "Oh, I can't wait till I get those herpes." It's
Yeah.
like, you know, when I'm a celebrity,
you're
I'm big
that
enough
good,
celebrity.
yeah.
It's like, yeah, I got herpes, but guess who I got it
Yeah.
from?
You want like celebrity herpes, you know? It's like I got a case of Scientology herpes. That means you're making your way in Hollywood.
If you get a case of herpes in like a truck stop, it's like you can't brag about that. But
No, truck hooker herpes. No, you got to keep them in the DL. You know, but like,
But if you get it from this woman won Best Actress,
right?
this is the
What's
Best
the difference
Actress
if I
herpes.
said I got my herpes? Who? Whoopi Goldberg. Then you'd probably dial it back a little bit. You're like, whoa. She sat on my face.
I swear, she just whipped her hair in my face.
How do I get? You know, I once, yeah. I mean, I, for the record, I do not have herpes. Do not take. But I dodged a bullet. Dated a girl had herpes, but she was taking medication, had no outbreaks.
How do you avoid that?
You know, apparently it's one, you know, make sure your partner doesn't have one, avoid someone with herpes. Two, if you can.
If you can,
Right.
sometimes it's
But I'm
inevitable.
But I'm going to be dating female comics, so check. That's not an option.
Right.
They got everything, and then make sure they're on medications. There's no outbreaks because that's how it's exposed during an outbreak. Typically.
Okay.
And then if you don't know if you get it unless you have the symptoms. Essentially, they can't test otherwise, and typically you'll always have the symptoms. It's be very rare for you to have herpes and not have the symptoms. So if you don't have the symptoms, you can assume you didn't get it.
That's why I always say
I feel like we
before.
learned a lot about herpes today.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
why
a spokesman for Valtrex.
I always say
Spokesman for herpes.
Yeah.
before you have
Who
sex
wants
with a
to-
woman, get out the magnifying glass and just check to see if there's an outbreak.
Yeah, like
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah, that's classy.
always
Especially at
have
the
like a
dinner
jeweler's
table.
loop with you, like so you just
Yeah, this is
hold
my
up your
herpes
eye.
monocle.
exactly. I'm
See
gonna
what
ask you a
you're
few
at.
questions about what's going on down
What's
there.
going on with- yeah.
So, what about like Kevin? Have you been to this bar before?
I have not been to this bar.
Grant and Green. Do you like
Grant.
it so far?
I
So far,
like
so
it
good.
So far, it's nice. I mean, it's like this is a quiet. You know, I came from happy hour at work, so I'm already a little bit sussed up.
You hide it well.
Yeah, I
you
do
look like.
hide
I mean,
it
because
well.
like maybe you came from work. Like you look like you're put
I do,
together.
Okay, I'm pretty put together as a drunk. You know, I get happy. I don't get angry. Nothing breaks out. There's no sores.
You
Nothing
don't, you don't
happens.
start
That's
like
good.
you
That's
know
the best- like, the best
complaining
kind
about
to
the
be, for
Jews
sure.
or
I
anything
do,
like
no,
that.
I do that sober. Come on, I do that when it makes rational sense. But no, I don't know. Nothing comes out. There's no the Jews caused all the wars in the world. None of that comes. I'm very happy.
Get
There's
your
No matter how true it is.
There's no inner anti-Semitic Aryan Nazi inside me waiting to come out.
We're getting our Mel Gibson on here.
Yeah, I'm Bill Gibson.
I love when Mel Gibson was like complaining, or when he was apologizing. You know, he got his DUI, and he started like mouthing off about Jews starting wars and stuff. And then his apology was basically like, you know, I would have said that stuff if I wasn't drunk, because you guys both know that when you're drunk, you say things you don't believe at all, right?
Right. And they didn't struggle.
Walk
just
around
comes
talking
out-
about how Gandalf is real.
Yeah.
It just comes out of the
Exactly.
ether, right? It's
Yeah.
just like these thoughts, like, I don't know where they're transmitted from, but they just come into my mouth.
Right, it's
Right.
weird.
And they didn't start the wars; they financed the wars.
That's
so
right,
Obviously,
exactly.
he was totally off to begin.
It's like he apologized for being
Yeah.
so inaccurate.
Yeah, please break out the accounting here. We know what's going on.
But do you know Ben Feldman,
Yeah,
comic?
I love Ben Feldman.
Yeah, Ben's a good friend of mine, and he used to have a comedy showcase here at GrantGreen.
Did he really?
A long time ago.
Oh, wow.
I think it lasted for
For-
about 3 years.
Yeah, for several years. I
Yeah, it was
remember
really
that.
good.
Yeah.
But you know what? This
Does
bar.
he run another one now? Like, does he run
runs
the
it
one
at
at the
Comic Club.
Yeah,
I've
okay,
done
yeah,
that
yeah.
a couple times. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Right,
he still
right,
does
yeah.
Comic Club.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yoga
room
pants
too.
territory right there.
Oh Jesus,
The marina.
my God.
Yeah.
Do you think I have a friend whose name is me,
Whose name is you? Oh, really? That's strange.
who really thinks we can, in history books somewhere in the future, they will like mark the moment when somehow we convinced women to wear yoga pants in public. It's like, I don't know what, like where who had this like meeting, but like
Right.
it was approved.
I don't know what we had to
approved.
trade to get it. Like, it'll come out later. It's like, oh yeah, like everybody has to walk around with one ball hanging out. It's like,
I
crap.
just like the patterns on the yoga pants. That's what really attracts
Exactly.
me.
You read it for
Like
the
Argyle,
articles.
whatever it is. Yeah, I read it
Right.
for the articles. Yeah, I
something
spooge
something
on it.
mathematical and repeating. You know,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
nice.
Some fractals on the yoga pants. That's erotic.
But
Sheer yoga pants.
Ben's old show here was one of those classic like comedy shows where like you look around this bar, like the stage is right behind us, and it's just like this wide open bar.
Should be on the stage. I mean, really, but
Well, practice. But in this, when he was doing his show, it was a free show, and it was one of those like comedy shows where, you know, sometimes you go to a show and half the people sitting at the bar didn't know there was going to be a comedy show.
right.
Right.
And like, you know, then there are some people who are here to see the comedy show, and those shows are always really interesting because there's always like someone drunk at the bar, like "fuck you."
Yeah,
Shut up.
Yeah.
It's totally,
great.
it's totally
I
different
love
than
that
it.
stuff.
Well, you do get to work on your crowd work and like dealing
Exactly.
with like drunk, like
Yeah.
That's like sort of the good thing about
I
like
just suck their
Annie's.
dick till they shut up. You know what I'm saying? I can really, yeah, that's crowd work. That's control.
Right.
Gag reflex,
What it's
actually.
all about.
Yeah. Your dick's about to get sucked, bro. Peer.
Ooh,
Yeah, Mr. Wrong
that'll-
motherfucker.
that'll
All
shut
right,
it
man.
right
Let's
up.
see what you got. Like,
Like this.
Kevin, do you do a lot of crowd work?
You know, I like to do. I mean, I don't. I mean, that's the thing. You know, I enjoy getting heckled. Even
You enjoy getting heckled.
I do. I haven't had the heckling where it derailed me yet. So I enjoy it, and I like to go, especially if they're drunk. I mean, my issue is I have to make sure I'm not too mean.
yeah.
You know, because if they're drunk, they're like putting themselves out there, and then I can just skewer them.
You always want the crowd on your side.
you're like, at least I don't look like an incest survivor.
Exactly.
Well,
That's-
ooh,
Oh,
jeez,
what?
God.
We can all fuck each other's mothers. But you know, I did the last show I did a Ben show at Comic Club. I did almost a 10-minute set or something like that. Almost all crowd work because
Really?
it was like some drunk dudes from the marina, older guys, and they were just constantly talking. So just a crowd. But that was a great set.
It worked. Yeah.
It worked because I just took control and I just boom, boom, boom. We all had fun.
As somebody who like runs a
then
show,
I sucked their dick as a reward.
you know, Kevin,
is
all
the
your
custom.
all your
Yeah.
stories end the same.
Then I bought the milk
Sure, you don't have herpes yet.
Then I had to find someone to suck the dick.
Then Goldilocks had her dick sucked.
Herpes, yeah. That's not herpes. That's
So, as somebody who runs a comedy show,
chicken pox.
it is a really it's a fine line, and you have to kind of decide when somebody's heckling, when you got to go over
Right,
there
right.
and tell them, hey, you got to dial that back.
Yeah, yeah.
Because like if the comic is scoring off the heckler,
Yeah.
you got to let it go.
Yeah.
You know, but the thing is, you can't like give them like free reign where they're just like,
Right.
you know, like
And-
they.
yeah.
You have to sometimes you have to remind people this is not a dialogue.
Right.
It's like you can say things here and there,
And-
and every heckler thinks, oh, I'm sorry, I'm helping. I'm not
Right.
like no, you're not
Right,
helping.
Right. And if for bench, I was last going up, so I'll do whatever I want. If I wasn't, I wouldn't necessarily do that so much as to get them in that zone where they think they can keep talking
Right.
for the next.
Yeah, you
comic.
don't want to ruin
Sure,
the crowd
yeah,
for
yeah.
the
You know,
next comic.
So yeah, in this case, I just was last, and I just this was the only thing I could do because otherwise
I'm gonna
they
scorch the earth.
just scorch the earth.
The scorch the earth comedy of Kevin
like,
Whitting's.
I'm not
right.
going to do prepared material so much as piss on all of your mouths.
Yes.
Since
Now
I'm
we're
last,
talking.
I'm just gonna whip it out.
I'm gonna whip it out. Getting back to the dick sucking again. I see where it's going.
That reminds me. We need to take a break.
Getting back to dick sucking.
All right.
Go to 7-Eleven, buy that Slurpee.
I just want to say first before we go to break, because we didn't really talk about the bar that much, or Ulysses Grant, the president.
Oh
Yeah.
Who's on the logo of the bar. But
yes.
Did you know that his real name is not Ulysses, but it is
Really?
Hiram. Hiram Grant.
Really?
And he started the war.
Yes, he did.
And he was Jewish there.
Probably had
Talking to the
herpes, I
dogs.
would think.
There's
Probably had herpes. I think Hiram is Greek for herpes.
There is some famous story about Lincoln when somebody said to Lincoln, well, General Grant he's just a drunk. And he said, well, he's won more battles than anybody else in the Union, so whatever he's drinking, we should send a case to the other generals.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And then he sucked his dick.
Right.
Suck the dick. So you're getting on that Lincoln tip. You know those rumors that he's gay.
Oh, yeah, it's
I
true.
like that I did spoke in the present tense about Abe Lincoln, wasn't it?
Didn't he have,
I know him so
Mumford
well.
and Sons syndrome, too?
Well, did he?
No.
Well, back in those days, guys would share the bed,
Sure.
out in the frontier, get themselves, warm.
Did that go out of style?
Oh yeah. By the way, when is our next
so that's
spooning
not still-
session? Yeah.
Oh, we got to take a break.
I have my Lord of the Rings onesie. I want to wear that. You can cuddle with me.
All right, this is SF
Okay.
Barkast. We'll be back. Grant and Green. All right, and we are back at Grant and Green. Grant
Indeed.
and Green. So, Andrew, you said something about Ulysses S. Grant because of Grant
well, yeah,
and
because
Green?
we're on Grant and Green. I guess I could have
What about
talked
Green?
about Graham Greene.
Or
Yeah.
Mo Green from
Mo Green,
from the Godfather.
right? From the Three Stooges,
Are there
right?
other great Greens? Ellen Green from
The
Little
color
Shop of
is
Horrors?
nice.
There's a lot of greens.
Yeah, there's a lot of...
Tons of greens in this world. But going back to Lincoln, check that. Shake
Right.
my hand.
Okay.
Now shake my hand.
There we go.
Now you have herpes.
Now you both have herpes. Let's just bring. That's a callback. You've now just shaken the hand of the man who shook the hand of the man who shook the hand of the man who shook Abraham Lincoln's hand.
So
Holy
how do
crap.
we find our way back from there? Did you knew somebody who shook Abe Lincoln's hand?
I was sitting in front of the New York Public Library. You know the big fancy one where they shot Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And I had a friend who was shooting some student film, right? And
This is in New York City.
New York City.
Right.
No, this is here.
Oh, okay.
This is follow me. And then when Jesus
Ghostbusters
came,
took place
I
in
s-
San Francisco.
yeah.
I'm right. Go ahead.
Yeah. And Graham and Green, where's the cross street? And then so I was sitting there, and then this guy came up. This couple came up, and they came up with this really old man, and we started conversing. That's the language I use. I converse with people. I don't talk with them. And then
You're one of those guys who doesn't sweat, you perspire, right?
Oh, yes, exactly. Please. And so then he said, shake his hand. And I shook his hand. And he said, this guy was, when he was really young, he shook a very old senator's hand. And this senator, when he was very young, shook Abraham Lincoln's hand.
Wow.
So we're all connected here, guys.
So not only do you have herpes, you might have Abraham Lincoln's herpes.
herpes, yeah. Those,
Well, all right, so
brought
Can I blow your mind real quick?
Yeah, you can blow my mind.
I'm going after you. 'cause
Okay.
I have some mind-blowing stuff as well. Mind-blowing.
My birthday is February 12th, the same as Abraham Lincoln's. My initials are the same as Abraham Lincoln's as well.
Wow.
Wow.
And you got
Crazy.
shot by that actor.
I did. And it's Semper,
And you-
sick, Cyanus,
And on the third
shouting
day,
asshole.
you rose from the dead.
And
Okay.
you know that there's this author, Larry Kramer. He's
Yeah.
an activist.
Yep.
He came out with a book
Yep.
just recently, and there's the history of gay people from.
Okay.
It's on my Amazon wish list. But anyway, no sarcasm there. But he says, his theory, and I don't believe Abraham Lincoln was gay, and that he was shot because John Wilkes Booth was a spurned lover.
Ooh.
Oh, that
Yeah.
can't be true. He was just a bad actor, wasn't he?
Well, he was the brother to a very famous 19th century actor, one of the most famous American 19th century actors.
Somebody told me that John Wilkes Booth was actually famous.
He was, I think, fairly well known. Yeah.
Yeah.
during that
So
time,
it would
yeah.
be like if
Bradley Cooper shot
Like Kim
somebody.
Kardashian.
Yeah, exactly.
shot
If like
Obama.
Matt LeBlanc shot Obama.
That's right.
You're like, what's
I-
that idiot?
You know, I would have seen that coming. Like,
I actually
knew it.
I've actually seen Abe Lincoln's face. This isn't a competition, of course.
Yeah. Last time you got a $5 bill, right?
One time when I was in high school, we went to a Latin convention at Holy Cross University. And of course, if anyone's gone to a Latin convention, the first thing you do is you sign in and then you fucking leave the Latin convention. You just run around the university.
Yeah.
And we ran into this.
Worcester.
We ran into this old man who had like keys to like the Holy Cross like library, and like we were on a university campus, so like this is cool.
Who is this
like
weird old man like
generally speaking,
luring in children to the like library?
Generally speaking, when an old man says, "Hey, do you want to see something?" and like takes you and starts unlocking doors, you don't follow them in, right? But
oh no, you're feeling Abraham Lincoln's face in my pants.
That's right. Let's redefine what face means.
So he brought us to this part of the library that was like, off limits, and he showed us someone had done a cast of Abe Lincoln's face.
Wow.
Oh,
and he showed, so like I've actually seen Abe Lincoln's face. I was too drunk to remember. But,
How old were you? Were you drunk?
No, I was like 17.
How long did you make out
I
with
was drunk.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, what has this got to do with Latin?
Yeah.
You're like making it like suck your dick, and he's like, "That's Abraham Lincoln." Oh well, that's a relief.
Ooh, honest Dave.
And where was it?
Was
it just in a display case, or what was it? How was it set?
It was in a case, but it was just a face.
It was a frisbee.
It was a frisbee. We're fucking hacky sacking with Abraham Lincoln's
Speaking
face.
of Larry Kramer and Abe Lincoln, have you guys seen that there was a conservative convention that sent the log cabin Republicans home? And do you know what the log cabin Republicans are, Kevin?
I do know what they are.
Yes.
I know. That's some we call that like, and it's not
super
spooning,
denial?
it's more like forking. I think.
I think it's
or sporking maybe.
Right.
Sporking is probably what that is.
I
Yeah.
actually,
If you had a Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah, spork
So-
it when you're.
if anyone doesn't know, a log cabin Republican is a Republican who is gay.
Right.
And
for some weird reason, or
Well-
for some
Log
weird
Cabin is based
purely
off of
financial
Lincoln.
reason.
Well, log cabin,
Yeah,
it's
it's
all
based
based
off
off
Lincoln.
of Lincoln.
So
But
these are all people that want to have sex with Abraham Lincoln specifically. Then.
You should have
That's a
stolen that
that's a
cast and
different-
brought it to like the log cabin,
Go
public
nuts
meeting.
with it, guys.
Yeah,
that's a different convention.
the ultimate fantasy.
I will trade you this death mask of Abraham
This is
Lincoln
the money
that
shot
you can
right
have
here.
sex with.
Have we cleaned up from the furry convention? Because we got the people who want to fuck Lincoln convention who's coming in next.
Yeah.
So
They're both in Guerneville for some reason.
I actually met a log cabin Republican once.
Yeah.
And he told me, he was like, yeah, I'm a log cabin Republican. And I was like, hey, you know what? I have to ask you this. Why,
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Like, why would you want to be in a party that has no margin for your lifestyle? And he's like, I get asked that all the time. He's like,
Well, it's all about self-hatred.
no. He said it's all. He's like, I make a lot of money. He's like, that's it. I make a lot of money, and I feel like I shouldn't have to get taxed.
Right, so it's
for it.
economical.
So you
And
wanna,
I
like-
actually said to him, I said, you know what? That
You
is
want to
the
fuck over people that have your lifestyle so you can make some bucks.
well. It's like, yeah, exactly.
You prioritize different things,
But you know
That's true.
that's actually
He's fucking on a big bet of money. Did you know that?
You know what?
He wants to keep fucking on the big bet of money.
You know who wants to have sex with
He doesn't want to have a normal
a
mattress.
poor, ugly guy?
Yeah,
Nobody.
disgusting. Who does that?
Do you think David Geffen wants to get taxed at a high tax bracket?
No, he doesn't. He'll turn straight before that
But
happens.
I actually told him, I was like, you know what? Actually, that kind of makes sense. Like, I mean, it's selfish, but like it makes sense that like, okay, that is the reason why you're a log cabin. It's not like you're a Republican because you believe in their like,
it's one of those things
their
where it's like-
progressive like social views.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where, like, you can't really congratulate him for being honest if he's still a scumbag.
Yeah, it's
like,
true.
It's like you kind of want to. You're like, well, good for you for being so honest about, like, being a shitty person.
So what are his politics anyway? I mean, you don't know what socially are his politics. Is he conservative and everything else, and just not on the gay?
I think he's
Or is-
conservative in the. Well, I don't know.
Who knows? Like,
But
fiscal conservative, socially liberal. I mean, who knows?
Right. I'm sure he's not going to.
Don't bring nuance into this.
Yeah, I was about to say he's still face fucking that death mask. And we're not getting away from that at all. Just put some lipstick on it. You can just glam up Lincoln. That's what I would do. I'd
Put a little top hat on
shoe
it,
log
yeah.
cabin, yeah, with like a fedora with a feather coming out. They
like
shot Lincoln
punch
because
in
he
the
was about
eye.
to
Don't
get
look at
on
me, Lincoln.
stage and start screaming, "Gotta dance, gotta dance."
It's like the stovetop your pipe. I'll
Yeah.
tell you that. I don't know what that
That's
means. So during the break, we were talking about current events. The most pressing current event of the day,
Oh, easily.
and it was the new Star Wars trailer
that
came
out in Yemen.
Of course.
Very important, yeah.
I believe there was some terrorist attack somewhere, but we'll get to that.
That
next
was
week.
in the Star Wars world, my friend.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
50 nurses died in Yemen, blah, blah, blah.
Blah, blah. Check out the bloody
Look at
Falcon.
Look at Chewie.
Yeah.
It's Chewie.
So are both you guys excited for the new Star Wars movie, which is called A Force Awakens? or
Awakens.
Something like that.
I call that tent pole when I wake up. Oopsie doodle.
There are these moments you have where you're like, you know what? You see something, you're like, okay, that's going to come out in Christmas. And like when you get older, you think, okay, I got to live till then.
Yeah,
I got at
until
least
next-
at least until Christmas. Or it's like I can't kill myself until I see that movie.
Yeah,
Hopefully
exactly.
I can bootleg it in November so I can kill myself in December.
Yeah, that's a good.
Ooh,
I wonder
I'm
if
still
like,
ahead of schedule.
I wonder if like suicide prevention hotlines that are saying, but have you seen the latest Star
Right.
Wars? It's coming out in 3 months.
I got
Call me
exactly.
back. Maybe that's.
I
a
know
good
you're in a lot of
approach.
pain right now, and you think
Yeah,
nothing will ever
forward.
get better.
But so
New
is
Star
Harrison
Wars
Ford.
trailer.
Are you close to a computer?
Check out these awesome trailers.
Sorry.
And like,
That's a Star Destroyer like buried in the
That's right.
sand. Can you believe it?
you got
Furious 8 is coming. Do
I
not
already-
do it. Life is worth
The
living.
ghost of Paul Walker
Yeah,
will be in
Paul
it. I promise.
I'm going to text you the cast of the new Star Trek movie.
Exactly.
By the way, so the Star Wars trailer came out, and
Right.
speaking of Star Trek, man, isn't J.J. Abrams, man, isn't he living like the fucking nerd, like?
Well,
like,
of course he is.
like
yeah.
He directed Star Wars.
Yeah.
This last one.
If a
And
nerd
the,
were
and,
to
and Star Trek as
Yeah,
well.
I know
like,
he's doing that.
if a nerd were to masturbate for his entire life, he would be thinking about J.J. Abrams' career.
Right.
Because,
Yeah.
you know, like, there was always that argument in sci-fi circles where it's like, are you like Star Wars or do you like Star Trek?
Right.
Oh, really? Fuck you then. You know, J.J. Abrams was like, I don't have to, like, choose because I do them both, motherfucker.
Yeah.
exactly.
They pay me to do both.
Exactly.
What do you get? You pay to see them both.
If I was J.J.
What do you
Abrams,
pay
I'd be
to
like,
do besides
you know what?
suck my dick.
You know what I figured out? I figured out that everybody in the world sucks except me.
That's right. Well, what do you think of the Star Trek reboot? I mean, it was very action oriented, and
Yeah,
it was
like-
less. I mean, because when I think of like the
I like
next
the first
generation,
one more than the second one. I think. Like.
You know what?
they
Like,
were-
I think they were both forgettable, but I liked them both.
That's good.
Yeah,
fun,
it was a fun time. I remember the first one
But
being
to
a
me,
fun.
it was like it was
fun time.
well edited. It was fast, but it wasn't
Yeah.
necessarily interesting. It was just like a, you know.
I think I liked
well
the
put
second
together.
one. I liked the second one
Yeah.
with Khan.
I didn't see Khan though. I like Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch. I like him a lot. He's good. I
Yeah.
love Sherlock. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
That's great.
I hear it's great.
It's excellent. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Although, you know what? I don't like. Some people are like really into that whole Sherlock Holmes mystique. I'm like,
Yeah.
well, I want to be less bored.
Oh, you
So I
do?
don't really like. You know,
Have you talked to someone about this?
I mean, is it going to put me to sleep?
It is like
Should
a
put it-
very like there's almost a weird like I hesitate to call it steampunk aspect to it, but it's just
Well,
like,
it's
you know,
like
where,
when-
where it's like people are like, oh wow, like they're walking around with gas lamps and you know, shit like,
Yes.
You know, like when Robert Downey Jr. did like the reboots. People were like, "Oh my God, it's one of the greatest action movies ever." I'm
Oh, it
like,
should
"I'm
be,
not
yeah.
going to watch
I'm
it."
not going to watch that.
I mean, like, and I love action movies, but it's
yeah,
just
well,
like,
and it's like Guy Ritchie too. Like, so you'd think it would be like, you know, like really great, but like
Right.
Guy Ritchie's kind of lost it at this point.
Yeah, I don't think Guy Ritchie hasn't done anything in a long
Yeah,
time.
like what was the like the big movie he became known for? Like, well, I mean, Snatch
Snatch?
was great, and like even the one before that, like
Lock, Stock.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, those were
movie.
fun. Yeah, but he wasn't. Yeah.
the
Robert
So
Downey
I guess I am interested in seeing the new Star Wars trailer, but
I-
buried in all of the hype for the Star Wars trailer today is the announcement that Ryan Gosling is going to be in the Blade Runner sequel.
Oh, is
Oh,
it really?
He's starring in
Wow.
the Blade Runner sequel. Yes.
Well, I hope he's not wearing a shirt.
Hey girl,
Hey, girl.
hey girl, I know you're a replicant.
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
damn it, couldn't they put Ryan Reynolds in it instead? That would have been better.
Ryan
Really?
Reynolds, like
I think
people
Gosling's
just
a
don't
better
like
actor
him.
than
No,
Ryan
I-
Reynolds.
I-
Okay.
yeah,
much,
well, no,
much
everybody
better.
loves
Yeah.
Gosling. Like, what
I
is
took
it
you
about?
seriously, my
I'm
friend.
sorry.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah.
That was my first mistake.
People just do not like Ryan Reynolds. Why is this?
You know what? Like he
Canadian.
was a big
Oh.
He's
You
a big
hit- you
swing
hit
and
it
a
right in
miss
the
as
head,
far
yeah.
as the movies. They tried for years to like force him down our throat.
I think he just doesn't.
And
have
like
a
everyone just kind of gave a collective yawn about it. They're like, yeah, like Green Hornet, who gives a fuck or whatever. Yeah, like Green.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, whatever. Yeah.
I just
World
don't-
of difference,
Same
Andrew.
thing.
You need to
They're
have a
like nerds listening to this right now.
Grant
like,
and Green, Green Lantern,
Green-
Green
yeah.
Hornet, whatever.
log cabin, Republican. What difference does it
Yeah,
make?
I think like can you see a future where Ryan Reynolds is like like pertinent? Like anybody
you
gives
know
a
what,
shit
like-
about him?
I could see somebody like a Noah Baumbach or something like that, like giving him a
Really?
chance.
I love
and, like,
Noah Baumbach.
Oh no, me too. But I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like, I could see like later down the road him becoming sort of like middle-aged, good-looking guy actor or something like that.
I
mean,
think
like,
he needs to suffer more. I don't feel suffering.
probably, yeah, you're probably right.
If you're out
like-
there, contact me. I'll help
Ryan
you
Reynolds,
suffer.
exactly. Like,
That's what I. It's
come
a
to
side
my-
service I provide.
come to my Hollywood suffering
Basically,
camp.
all we're gonna do is trade lives. That's all that
Ryan
happens.
Reynolds. I mean, let's face
It's a great
facts.
idea, actually.
Don't
like,
kill yourself immediately. Star Wars is
I
coming
mean, like
out
actors
soon.
are always like riding in cop cars and stuff like that to like get ready
Yeah.
for a role. It's like, hey, like be me for a year. Like,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is basically the Barry Sobel of Hollywood.
I wonder if actors preparing for roles. I wonder if like an actor's preparing for like a roles like someone who's suicidal, if they're like hanging by the side of a bridge, talking to someone.
That's
it's
some like serious
should.
method shit.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I'm just feeling it out, bro. I'm not gonna jump with you. I just need to know
Exactly.
at what point you're gonna
Oh,
jump.
are you here to talk me down? Actually, I'm an actor
Yeah,
and I'm doing
exactly.
research for a role.
It's more like
Oh.
actually I'm an actor. Oh shit.
I'm gonna be in a new Ryan Reynolds movie.
If you survive the fall, go watch it April 12th. I
Please
learned
don't-
so much from you.
Please don't pirate it. I
April
need the
5th in
money.
selected cities.
I love your mannerisms when you fall.
Uh,
That look of terror in your eyes like you made a mistake. I'm keeping that.
I need to get it right. So we talked about sci-fi movies. Andrew, what are some
Sci-fi.
What are some sci-fi movies that you like in the last
In the last
Kevin?
several years, or like handful
you'll,
of years?
don't
or-
worry, you'll get your
I'll
chance
get
as
my
well.
chance, yeah.
Gosh, I don't know. Like I did enjoy Interstellar.
Yes, so did I.
I enjoyed Gravity quite a bit. Like that was a decent movie. Like
I
a
felt
lot
the
of-
pull of Gravity myself.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Copywriter here, huh? Mr. Copywriter.
You got anything else? Other
I'm trying to think,
any
like,
sci-fi movie you like?
You know what? Like I didn't even mind Cloud Atlas so much. I mean, like and a lot of the Wachowski stuff. Like I like just because it's like usually so visually groundbreaking. But like.
All right, enough of your shit.
Yeah, no.
Kevin.
Well, let's see. I saw Interstellar. I saw Gravity. I saw Chappie.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
how's that?
Chappie.
How's that?
How's Chappie?
It was okay. It was. I mean, the director.
Yeah, Blomkamp.
Yeah.
I like District 9.
Because
Yeah.
there was District 9, and there was how do you pronounce it? Elysium or
Elysium.
Elysium.
Elysium,
There you
yeah.
go.
Which was real. I loved everything about Elysium except like Jodie Foster and all of that.
It was
there was like
The
huge
elite
swaths of
world.
it that were terrible. But like
It was
yeah.
super ambitious.
Yeah.
And I feel the same way about Cloud Atlas. Atlas was
Yeah.
incredibly ambitious. You can argue about whether they hit the mark or not.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it wasn't any good, but like
Yeah.
it was really interesting to watch. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The same
I
thing
really
with Speed
like.
Racer too.
District 9 I really liked. Blade Runner, of course, is like my favorite
Oh, yeah, it's a
sci-fi
classic,
movie.
yeah.
People tend to like 2001.
You don't like 2001?
Wait, I
I
thought
think
we were
it's
talking
all
about like
right.
the last few years. Like, did you just see 2001 in the last few years?
No. I mean, like, actually, like, no. I've heard people say that they hate 2001. They think it's like totally overblown.
Really?
Yeah, and I disagree with that. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually like
I mean, it's
2010
no
as well.
Furious 7 or whatever.
No.
But, you know.
Exactly.
In the
Monkeys
last
aren't driving
few
cars, but
in the
they
last few
should.
years, there was a sci-fi movie called Another Earth, which I really
Oh,
liked.
I
I
like
heard
that.
about this.
That was really
yeah, I
good.
enjoyed that a lot
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
And there was a movie, a Danny Boyle movie called Sunlight that I really liked.
Huh.
So there you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
So
Suck
there
on
you go.
that.
So we basically covered all the sci-fi the
Right.
past decade.
It's
All right,
like,
nerds, you got your segment now.
You got
Shut
your
up.
yeah.
the thing is, like, when you are somebody like me who likes sci-fi, like, you know that 85% of what you watch is going to suck.
Yeah.
But you still do
Yeah,
it because
watch
you're
it
waiting
anyway.
for, Blade Runner again.
I mean, like so much of
Yeah.
like it's weird that there aren't more like sci-fi movies. I guess. I mean, I guess like television sort of like taking taking a lot of like sci-fi. I mean, I guess
Yeah, but television isn't doing a whole lot of sci-fi. They're doing like fantasy and historical shit.
I mean, I guess like some of the Marvel superhero movies, stuff like that. Like, I guess would sort of count as sci-fi, wouldn't they?
On
It's
a
not
mild
sci-fi.
sci-fi tip, they're bringing back the X-Files.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Bringing it back.
Friend of the show, Mike Lazinski, will be happy to hear that.
Yeah.
Is he really into that?
I think he's really into that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was
He's really into dicks.
No, I said he's really into that shit.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's
Like,
not sci-fi.
you-
That's reality.
You hear what you want.
Dicks, X-Files.
Yeah,
same thing.
He made me go to the X-Files movie. I never watched the X-Files when it was on
You
TV.
didn't?
I didn't. I don't know. I was into some.
Too good for that,
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. I was.
Too good. Oh, Mr.
Busy having
Snooty
sex
Snoot.
with women.
Oh my God, that gets old over time.
But he made me
watch
go,
X-Files all the time.
He made me go to the X-Files movie on the first day,
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
and I had to wait in line with all those
Well, that's
fucking
awful.
subhumans.
Why would you wait in line if you're not a fan?
Look at you, unfuckables.
Why would you? Yeah.
I was just like, why? I was like driving by in my car, like,
It's-
you're not even human,
Yeah.
nanu nanu.
It's basically like
Okay, get out. Oh,
That's
shit.
like an advertisement for a eugenics program. That's what that is. Like, yeah, we need to just cut it all off right here. Just sterilize everything from this line onward.
If you exhibit symptoms,
Yeah.
we have to cut you out of society.
Yeah,
Is there
that's-
anything else you're looking forward to at the box office? For me, it is. I'm asking you, but I'm going to answer.
Yeah.
That's the way it works
We're
in
here
my
just
head.
to watch you.
The Mad Max movie.
Okay.
Yeah, you know
Yeah,
what?
that's
Like
interesting.
Yeah.
that's got me like pretty.
Good God,
pretty
that-
hooked at this point.
Yeah.
Like just like it just looks like it's gonna be like 10 times more fun than Fast and
dude,
Furious.
Mel
when you-
Gibson's not in it at all.
Thank the Lord Jesus.
I think it'd be great if there was a cameo of Mel
Oh.
Gibson, but he's super drunk, and they just film whatever he
well,
says.
the thing is,
That would
yeah,
be
exactly.
awesome.
That big-
Yeah,
he
it's
comes
like-
out of a cave, you motherfuckers, he said.
and then just cut that into like footage of like Master Blaster
Fuck
killing
it.
Exactly.
somebody.
He's like this, like
stab you.
it's like this post-apocalyptic sort of like wasteland, and he's like, the Jews.
Right. He's like drunk on a floor eating a
They stole the
cheeseburger.
water in the world. They stole the water.
You know, like with the new Star Wars movie, they brought back Harrison Ford and Mark
Right.
Hamill because they're not fucking walking embarrassments like Mel Gibson is.
Yeah. Well, you have. I mean, you have to. I mean, also. Well, you in a different, an alternative universe, they would have brought back Mel Gibson for something for Mad Max, but like, he's too
Right.
hot.
No, if he
can't
he wasn't
do it.
radioactive
He wasn't
from
radioactive,
being
yeah.
like a
So
fucking
congratulations to Harrison Ford and Mark Hamill for
not being as
like
Exactly.
anti-Semitic
batshit
assholes.
crazy
For,
as
you know,
Mel Gibson.
being able to get drunk and not
Right.
like be politically incorrect and ruin your
Wor-
career.
Worst
Yeah.
thing that happens is I crash a plane into a golf course if I'm drunk. I'm not going
Yeah,
to say
that's
anything
not a big deal.
crazy.
Although
We
Mel
shouldn't be
Gibson,
watering those damn golf courses anyway.
Exactly. Like they might as well be like farming almonds on them.
Exactly. That's so
well, Mel Gibson did make that Jesus movie.
He did.
Oh yeah, he did, didn't he? Like,
Yeah,
I heard-
Apocalypto as well.
Apocalypto he made, yeah.
Like,
I
that
also
was-
saw that. I enjoyed that.
You know what? Like I've seen bits and pieces of it. And I'm able to watch about 15 or 20 minutes of it, and I'm like, oh my god, this is horrifying. Like,
Really? Yeah, you can't watch
like
it,
it's.
yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, fuck him.
Plus, I don't like the
He
Jews.
did the Patriot,
The Patriot, too.
and Tom Brady wasn't in it.
I know. That doesn't make any logical sense.
All right, you ready to take a break?
Sure,
Sure.
why not?
All right, this is SF Barkast, and we are at Grant and Green in North Beach.
I'm ready. I'll keep talking. Practice that special juice.
All right, you
Special
weren't supposed to
juice.
hear that. But we are back at Grant and Green with Kevin Whittinghill. Kevin, I'm sorry, we didn't do any bio on
That's
you.
fine.
Like
I'm a man of
people
mystery.
People think that like
That's
you're
what I
just-
say in my OkCupid profile.
Man of mystery?
mystery. That's all the profile says.
Big Mel Gibson
And
fan.
then when
Man
Bill,
of Mystery.
yeah, exactly. And then meet me on a first date. I don't even talk. I just stare at them relentlessly,
He just
like,
says,
like Mel Gibson from
Here's
Mad
my
Max.
photo. I know a lot about UFOs.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
Let's do a crop circle together.
So Kevin, where are you from?
I'm from Santa Cruz.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I am.
Why did I think you were from New York?
because I lived in New York for about a decade,
All right.
and then moved out here.
All right.
Yeah,
I'm pretty perceptive then.
yeah, yeah. See, probably because I mentioned New York at some point. Yeah.
Did
that-
you actually did you start comedy in New York?
I
or,
did, I
or-
did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So, like,
yeah.
Not,
Yeah, sure.
Where in New
Yeah.
York did you live?
For most of my time, I was very lucky. And for most of my time, I had a rent-controlled apartment on Central Park West overlooking the
Wow.
park. Yeah. That's gone.
Central Park West. Yeah, over by the Dakota.
Yeah, I mean, I was much I was at the very top. So I was on Central Park West between around 107th, 108th.
Oh, okay.
But it's still. I mean, I got mugged there, but it's still nice.
Sure.
Yeah, you can do a mugging or two. It's not a big
You've
deal.
gotten mugged before. I know,
Yeah.
like, I'm tempting fate by saying this all the time, but I've never been mugged.
Okay,
All right.
well, we'll work with you. We'll make something
can't
happen.
wait.
We'll put a stop to that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two things I'm looking forward to is
Yeah.
getting mugged and celebrity herpes.
You know, sometimes they
If
happen
you
at the
can
same
combine
time.
them both.
Yeah.
Oh, lucky day. So you lived in New York and you're
Yeah.
from Santa Cruz?
I am.
Wow, I never would have guessed you were from Santa Cruz.
I know. I don't give up the Santa Cruz vibe. I
You-
keep my
you-
hacky sacks hidden
Yeah, you
in
don't
my
have-
pants.
You don't have this like fog
I
of
don't.
pot smoke around
I
you.
don't have that. I don't even smoke pot.
Really?
I don't.
Wow.
Not
Well,
really.
neither do I.
Okay. Wow. I'm
Andrew's
surprised.
high all the time.
I can. I
Did,
smell
uh,
the farm emanating from you. Yeah.
Do you know any of the like sort of Santa Cruz crop
I
of
don't.
comics
I
around
left
here?
before
Or
the Santa Cruz scene happened. When
Oh,
I was
okay.
growing up, there was no scene. There was the Crow's Nest, and they had a Sunday night, showcase. And there was maybe 1.5, 2 open mics. That's it.
Can
And
I-
it wasn't even for comedy. There was no comedy in Santa Cruz. when
Wow.
I was
Can I
growing
tell you,
up.
I've been a judge for the SF international comedy
I know.
competition a few times.
So they bring people from Canada,
Exactly. Yes.
festival.
Oh, this person's from all the way from.
Vancouver.
He's from
from the
Tijuana.
country of
Tijuana.
Idaho.
Yeah.
So I was talking to some of the comics one year, and they were saying they do these shows in all these different like locations, and you can throw out whatever your lowest score is. And
Yeah.
the two comics I was talking to, they both said, so basically it means you throw out your crow's nest score. So,
Yeah.
and I was like, what are you guys talking about? Apparently there's this place in Santa
Yes.
Cruz where the crowds are like pretty brutal.
Really?
I guess so. I only performed the Crow's Nest once. I opened there. I hosted there once a long time ago because I've had 2 stints of doing comedy. I did it when I was like 20 in Santa Cruz. And I was there, and I could actually see.
You look like you're about 22.
Yeah.
So, like,
So this was last week.
Okay,
And
cool.
so I actually saw people I went to high school with. So it was already like I was off to a bad start. I was like, I hate these people anyway. I don't
Right.
make these people laugh. That's the last thing I want to do is bring joy to their
Jesus.
hearts. I don't want to see these people again. But
Nice.
yeah, I
Doing
mean,
comedy in front of people you went to high school with, it's
Yeah.
like doing comedy is already a cry for help.
Yeah.
It's like somebody in the crowd's like,
Yeah.
nerd!
I know. I'm just gonna move the crowd work and say, go fuck yourself.
I just want to
You
confirm
weren't
that
you
you
bully.
were all right about me.
Exactly.
Hey.
I'm terrible.
Why you piss yourself like you did in high school?
I know. I
Oh.
should have wore a trench
What?
coat in high school. You should have went that direction. But yeah, it is. I mean, I don't recall how I did there, but it wasn't great. But it's just a tougher room.
Yeah.
I guess that's what I hear from other comics.
Well, somebody was telling me that, and you correct me if I'm wrong here,
Yeah.
it was exactly kind of what I was talking about with Grant and Green, where there's some people there who aren't there for comedy.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so therefore they're like, why are you interrupting all of my sadness?
Yeah, I have so much chicken tenders to eat.
That's sort of like the downside of like a place like Santa Cruz pushes the importance of like, well, just be yourself and speak
Yeah.
out whenever you want.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of terrible for like something like comedy because like everyone's just there like, hey, you know what? Like I don't feel like listening to this right now, so I'm gonna ruin it for everybody. It's like,
Yeah, the Crow's Nest can be a little douchey, little
can
like
imagine, yeah,
a little drunk, whatever, You know,
Also that advice, like just go and be yourself. It's like a lot of
That's
comics
a
are filled
lie.
with hate.
right.
It's like,
You've heard of what?
filled with hate.
Yeah, you don't want
So
to
it's like,
conceal
why don't you go
that,
just
yeah.
go up there and be yourself?
Yeah. Then I'd stab somebody, so I have to dial it back to like 2
right, yeah.
a little bit.
Exactly. Why don't you go up there and be someone else?
Yeah. Yeah, the Crow's Nest, that's a tough, that's a tough, I imagine a tough room. Do we know something? That actually, I believe the Crow's Nest is maybe one of the longest running comedy shows in California.
Wow.
If not
Really?
the longest, yeah.
That's
You can
amazing.
go look that up. I think it started in like the 70s or something. It's really, and it's Sunday nights. Hey, check it out there, Barkast listeners. Go down to Santa Cruz and get a beer and ignore the comic.
That's whatever you're talking about for you.
Yeah, just ignore the fucking comic. And when I did it, I recall, because I was brought by another comic to open, and there was a headliner, right? And I recall this dude.
Right.
Talk about douchey. This guy, he had oh God, he did a lot of like, men do this, women do this. He did all this, and he was crushing. He was
Right.
doing well. This all the kind of hacky kind of stuff. He had a ponytail, right? Fucking disgusting creature. And then he like curly, and then I don't know if on stage he had it, but off stage He waited near the staircase to go down to leave Crow's Nest, and he had like he had no sleeves, so he had like a tank top, like muscles, and he just was like flexing, waiting for like some woman to start talking to him. So
I thought you were gonna say he was waiting to talk to you after your set.
No, thank God.
You'd be like, I didn't like that Axe body spray joke you did.
Yeah, exactly. Bro, I tan all the time in a tanning bed. What you making jokes? But it was like that made me like, why am I doing comedy? I don't want to turn into this guy. This dude's a douche.
This is the best case scenario.
Who hangs out by the exit, flexing their biceps with like a ponytail?
Wow.
Yeah.
That man was DJ Rio.
Yeah.
Although you know what's weird is hearing that. Like I remember in San Francisco when you would see guys like that, but now I feel like the personality of San Francisco has changed so much that like you don't see anything like that anymore.
Well, how do you mean by that? Like,
okay, so like I was playing pinball last night in a bar.
Okay.
And
bragger.
And generally speaking, like back in the day, if somebody was getting on your nerves or something, and you're like, oh, maybe like I'm gonna fight this person or something like that.
Yeah.
It was for like some reasons, it was for some testosterone, fueled reasons. Like the guy, like I was playing pinball.
He scuffed my Puma or something like that.
Right, yeah, exactly. Some stupid thing like that. But nowadays, I feel like the young tech bros, they're just like in their mind, like nobody else exists in the world, and it's not like they're looking for fights, but they just don't recognize other people's existence.
Yeah.
Dude, I was.
Anybody with sense wants to fight them, but they're unaware of that they have a problem.
Right, they're totally oblivious to the fact that they're being rude or
So what happened?
I was playing pinball last night, and there's 2 pinball games, right? So me and my friend Kevin were playing on one, and the one right next to us, these 4 tech bros are playing.
Which pinball machine? This is an important part of the story.
We were playing the Star Wars pinball machine at Shotwell's,
nerds,
and they were playing Medieval Madness, right? And cool I understand, there's 4.
Disgusting.
So there's 4 of them. They're tech bros.
Right.
One of them had a ponytail.
Oh my God.
But they're drinking and whatever. And so we're playing, and one of them just kind of leans over and puts his hand on our pinball machine and leans and watching his friend's pinball machine. Yeah. And I was like, dude, whoa, what are you doing? Yeah. And he's like, oh, sorry, is that a problem? I was like, yeah.
Is that a problem?
I was like, yeah, get off. We're playing a game of gravity, and you're leaning on our machine, okay? But then I was just like, what kind of person would do that? The only person who would do that is somebody who just thinks nobody else exists.
Right.
It's like,
well, I think the reaction is more key. Where he says, "Oh, is that a problem?" You're like, not even aware of what's going on.
But it wasn't one of those things like back in the day in the mission, someone would turn and you'd be like, "Yo, you got a problem?" It wasn't like that. It was like, oh, is that a problem?
If they said you have a problem, I'll solve it because I'm great with algorithms. I can make this work. It's totally different.
Is that an equation we need to figure out?
Check out the hook
Can
while
I
my
disrupt
DJ
your
revolves
problem
it.
and make this a lot better for everyone?
So it's a trade-off
and
because
money?
Back in the day, you used to have a lot more rough and tough people in the mission who probably would want to fight you. But now you have a bunch of people who just don't are just completely inconsiderate. But I'm a 45-year-old man, and I could have beat up all of these guys alone. Okay, it's
but that's sort of part of the problem is that a violent person couldn't really solve that problem because they're oblivious. So it's the fantasy would be some tough guy beats up this guy and he learns his lesson and isn't a dick anymore. Right. But if you're totally unaware of that you're even a problem, getting beat up won't do anything for you, which is unfortunate.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think they would learn.
Probably not.
I mean, if it,
I'm just saying that, the tough guy, his goal is probably unattainable.
Let's face it.
Yeah,
okay,
it's tough for tough
this entire
guys.
It's a bad time for tough guys.
Yeah.
Let's face it. This entire tech boom that's going on in San Francisco.
Right.
If there was no Asperger's, we wouldn't have a tech boom. A lot of these people just have no social skills, and they just do not fucking like understand. They don't know how to like act in like polite society.
Yeah,
Right.
pinball society.
Pinball society,
Speak
right?
of,
Exactly.
Yeah.
By the way,
Which is the politest of all societies, might I add.
Probably
Oh,
is.
yes, tilt it slightly.
can I say one last thing about like tech bros? I heard something recently that whole market area where like down like
What, Twitter and all
yeah,
that?
right, Twitter
Uh-huh.
and like do you know what they're calling that now?
The hotspot.
They're calling it the Twitter loin.
The Twitter line? Are they really?
Yeah,
Funny.
Boo.
That's
Exactly.
funny.
Great.
So
Wow, the Twitter line.
take aim, terrorists.
Right. Hashtag you suck.
You want to talk about do a little sports?
Yeah, let's do
Sure.
that.
Aaron Hernandez found guilty.
What a-
Sports and criminal justice.
a great beginning to the sports report.
Yeah, he'll be catching passes in his ass now. Am I right, people?
You know what I'm talking about.
You
This
know
guy
what
knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. High five
like-
all around.
Yeah, it's gonna be an awkward first day of prison. It's like, oh, so what was your job on the outside? I was a tight end. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
anymore.
Same
Yeah.
job in here.
Exactly. For the first 6 months. And then you got a like fucking leaky end.
People were saying that like because the jury took so long to deliberate, they were like, oh, they're not going to convict
Oh,
him
really?
right.
because they're like,
But they were just careful
What
to
was
convict
the,
him on
was
everything.
it second degree
it
murder?
was murder one.
Murder one.
Yeah, like yeah. I mean,
As in
they really
they nailed
they
him.
got him. Like they
Let's see.
murder one, and it was with like aggression and something. I forget what the
And flair, I think it's how
Exactly,
it is.
Flair.
It's like a little snapping the fingers. You go, girl.
aggression and personality.
Exactly.
Like, we convict you of murder.
Yeah,
Fabulous.
fabulous. Did it with style. You're definitely getting the death penalty.
That would be different if like they read the verdict and like threw glitter.
Yeah.
Guilty.
Damn it. I want to live
Now
there.
dance for us, you little bitch.
And then you're free to go.
Free to go.
But somebody was saying that like because the jury took so long to deliberate, like people were like, you know what, like I know they're not trying to milk this because they're like being sequestered in Fall River, Massachusetts, and nobody wants to
Really?
fucking stay in Fall River.
But what if they're like just exchanging like recipes, spaghetti recipes? Like they already made their decision and they just want to hang out and talk.
What is
Changing cabbage soup recipes.
Yeah,
in
so
Fall
like,
River.
you know, okay, he's definitely guilty. Let's talk about the daycare for my child. Let's
well, what if
Let's
like
explore all of the chowder in this
Yeah.
part of the world,
right?
before we come to a decision.
What if we were like, hey, look, we're all in this for as long as it takes, but you know what? I kind of feel like we got this Breakfast Club feeling. I really got to know
Yeah.
you guys.
Yeah.
Let's like
Exactly.
drag it out a little bit
Drag it out a
longer,
little
you
longer,
know?
yeah.
And come on, it is a player for the Patriots. Like if this was a Giants player, obviously we would have come to our verdict by now. But
Yeah.
like I have to make it look good for my friends.
You know, if the Patriots hadn't won the Super Bowl and they needed some help next year, maybe we would
Yeah, exactly.
acquit
That's
him.
probably what it
and
happened,
like, but
right.
like since they won it all last year,
This
like
guy
it's
can
great.
die.
This guy,
Like-
we can send this guy
I bet
off.
like no one was rooting against the Patriots more than Aaron Hernandez was.
Yeah.
It's like it's my only chance.
They say that
I know it's just
If they desperately need a tight end, like he's just like Gronkowski, break your leg right now. If,
Right.
Dude, I was saying like in
I'm
the playoffs, if their secret weapon is they were gonna like roll Hernandez out like Hannibal Lecter, and then, like
Yeah.
just like let him loose on the field.
Fava beans.
It's like I can't tackle
Shooting
him. Like,
people.
he's on a hand truck.
And I've
Are
said this
you from
before.
Boston?
I'm from
Yeah.
I'm from like right over by where the Patriots play.
Okay, where's
like,
that at?
Taunton.
Taunton.
It's the
Ah,
Portuguese Triangle.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
like I've said this before about Aaron Hernandez, like reading about like what that whole what he did, and he and his friends, they were all doing PCP, and I was like,
Usually
oh,
that leads to good decisions.
Yeah,
like,
that does.
do people
Weird.
still
I
do?
go grocery shopping on PCP. More beads, fuckers. More beads
like-
in my
Must be
eyes.
like so much fun to wake up the next day and find out what you bought.
Yeah. in my
Ooh,
eyes.
I bought some eggs and I seem to have chewed through a windshield.
Exactly.
eggs,
All makes sense to me.
Pancake mix, human
Yeah.
heads. That's weird.
Yeah. How will I make this work, Martha Stewart? Okay.
It's like you don't know which checkout line to go in because
Yeah.
you're flying high on angel dust.
Right. It's fucking crawling all of them.
Like, do I have 12 items or am I biting someone's head?
All right, what about the Masters? Jordan's Spleef?
Is Spieth? Spliff?
Spieth.
Spleef?
Spieth?
Spieth?
Like Jordan, the white guy, Spieth. Like,
Yeah, he looks like he,
You know what? I love watching golf, especially when you're hungover, because it's like everybody knows you're hungover because like all the voices are like,
quiet,
oh
everybody.
yeah, he's
True,
like on
right.
9. Yeah, here you go.
You won't speak too loud, it'll give you a migraine.
We
Oh,
got
it's so
he
great.
got a hole
Like-
in one, but just got a really bad headache, so
Yeah.
shut up about it.
I'm like, thank you, Jim Nance. It's like, welcome, friends. I'm like, I am your friend.
Yeah.
So Jordan Spieth, he
Not
wa-
like that hangover ruiner, Dick Vitale. Fuck him.
Oh, that guy's screaming in my ear. Fucking.
Dick Vitale.
Screaming all the time.
Is
It's
it?
terrible.
Awesome.
So the Masters, this guy from Texas won, and there was like all this like adoration for this young 21-year-old from Texas. And I can like golf. Like I can fake I can fool myself that I like golf. And then
Yeah.
every once in a while I realize, oh yeah, even like the most accessible sort of like golf personalities are still just like rich white kids from
Oh,
like
yeah.
country clubs.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
there was like all this like adoration for Jordan Spieth, like basically saying that he does it the right way, and like comparing it to like Tiger, and where Tiger's like fist bumping, and like Jordan Spieth is like very like down. It's like the whole thing is
like
Well, if you're a golf player, you should have no personality whatsoever.
well,
I think that's.
the whole thing is like very thinly veiled like racism. Where
Oh,
they're
God,
just like
yeah,
he's
like-
not the black guy who's
I
like
know,
yelling.
the
on-
single black guy, blackish guy.
Right.
He's not.
He's,
It's close enough for them.
He's cleared up that terrible, color that golf became for a while. Like,
Well, it's like in a very
What?
similar way, like Jordan Spieth, like he was going to Texas University, and then he left after his like sophomore year to go pro. And the thing is, like in the same like week, we had all these Kentucky basketball players leave Kentucky to go to the NBA.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah, so they're quitting college to go to the NBA. But when Jordan Spieth quits college, he withdrew from classes.
That's right. Yeah.
he's like,
That's
you know what?
funny.
I'm just not going to go this year. I'm
Yeah.
going to make $1 million instead. Like,
It's
Yeah.
like Jordan Spieth. It was such a tragedy because like he
Yeah.
had to leave school, and everybody knows he belonged there. Now these
Right.
black basketball players for Kentucky, that's a different like
Yeah.
story.
DeMarcus Cousins, it's a tragedy. He left without getting any education at all.
What a tragedy.
All right.
All right, don't want to take a break?
Let's take a
Oh,
break.
break.
Let's take a break and come back, and we'll talk about the bar and wrap it up.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, it's SFBarkast. All right, and we are back at Grant and Green. Kevin Whittinghill, I am so happy you were on the show.
Yeah, I'm happy.
Thank you
to
for
be
being on
here.
our White Power show.
I thank God. Finally, someone's doing. I knew you wanted to see Bentley, but he
Our
wasn't
Mel
available.
Gibson tribute show.
So it's me.
You're our absolute sixth choice.
Yeah, exactly.
We're happy you were on.
I can't believe Joe Gorman said no.
I know exactly. I actually was just in the bar drinking, and you guys dragged me over here.
By the way, we've gone the entire podcast without mentioning Drew Harmon, so let's not blow it.
Okay, okay,
just,
good.
Just wait until the plugs.
Yeah.
So, is it time for bad Yelp reviews?
Sure, why not?
Why don't we do this?
Well, okay, like there is. The funny thing is, going over the bad Yelp reviews for this place, there was like one instance that clearly happened that if it did happen, like I can sort of get behind the Yelp reviewers for it being a shitty thing to do, but like
I'm going to say it happened.
Yeah, I
don't
think
know.
it probably did.
For the
But-
sake of this bit.
For the sake of the bit, like apparently like there was a band that was scheduled to play here, and like everyone showed up for the show, and the band set up like to play, and then the owners were like, no, we're gonna play beer pong instead, and
Wow.
and
Who
so
the
they
fuck
just
owns
like
this
cleared
place?
them
Like
out.
a frat guy?
Really?
I get the feeling it kind of is like
Ooh,
like
shit.
that like this place recently changed hands, and that the owner's like a bit of a bro,
Oh, bro.
but
They're everywhere these days.
I know,
Kevin,
yeah,
have
like
you
they're worse
ever
than the
played
rats and
beer
the roaches.
pong?
I played only once.
Really?
I did.
Not for you?
Well,
Or
I
did
mean,
you play so well that you just walked
I
away on
crushed.
top?
Yeah,
at
exactly.
beer
exactly.
pong is
It's
what
like,
happened.
I want to go out on top.
I did. I
Like, you did like a bat toss, like
yeah, I threw
I was
the
at
ball
the-
in the hole.
I was at a bar in
It's
the
evolution
marina,
for you.
believe it or not, and
Yeah? No way.
there was a beer pong night where
Nice.
people would bring their teams down and like compete beer pong against each other, and they had like printed up T-shirts for each other.
Right.
Isn't beer pong night where it's beer pong night as well as non-consensual sex night?
Right.
Doesn't that kind of go together? That's what I figured.
Blow your buddy night.
Yeah, like I'm gonna have sex with her as soon as she passes out. Let's keep playing beer pong, and then whee!
What if I get it into that cup? Well,
Yeah,
we'll
that cup.
cross that bridge when we get there.
Get there. Yeah.
So I don't even know how to play beer pong or flip cup or any of those stupid things that kids do.
Yeah.
Why,
Dumps.
as Barbara
Well,
Bush would say, why poison your mind with such
Well,
information?
If you get the ball in, you have to take a drink out of your.
Is that how you play it?
That's basically it.
Why don't you just drink?
Oh my God, you're so stupid. You're an idiot. Why are you saying that? Oh my God, you're so stupid.
I remember playing like drinking games with people, like when you first start out, like you're like, yeah, let's get drunk, and then you're playing drinking games, and you're like, wait a minute, but I just want to drink.
Right.
Like it's like, why do I have to wait until I don't put my thumb on the
I've already
table?
won the game. The beer's in my hand
Exactly.
right now.
I live in America. I'm a winner.
Yeah, I'm an American drinking right now.
Well, it provided a good like drinking games provide like a good opportunity for like the people that want to drink, like the ones that are just constantly like oh, I screwed up the rule we just made up again. I can't believe it.
Yeah,
like,
but drinking games make certain people drink. So if you want to be in a situation where everyone drinks too much, you want to do a drinking game. So if you're in a situation where there's, females around, if you're a straight dude,
Okay.
drinking games, everyone gets drunk and you see what happens, that kind of thing. I assume that's
yeah,
what I've heard
now
from dudes who wear,
now I
baseball
see the whole like
hats
perspective
backwards.
where
Yeah.
it's like suddenly you have a structure to get people, because like basically if you wanted to get a girl drunk and you wanted to sleep with her and you just like sat next to her and just like held a beer
Keep
up to her mouth,
sipping this,
like
keep
that wouldn't
sipping
that
this.
wouldn't work.
That wouldn't
Yeah,
work.
not
yeah.
usually.
But like if you had like a structure where it's like, well, it's a game, you got to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
So maybe that's like the
you want to
thing.
fit in, don't you? 'Cause
I still
wanna
don't see
fit
the
in.
appeal,
Yeah,
but
Every time
okay.
we say a pronoun, you gotta drink.
right.
I think so. Yeah, they do. Yeah,
So is that
So a lot of the bad Yelp reviews were for that. Like I tossed all those aside because maybe maybe you had a bad night. Maybe you really wanted to play beer pong. I don't know. Like so
That
what are you
is
gonna
gonna,
do?
although that is like a weird thing where it's like, look, I know you guys set up the theremin, and you're gonna,
that's a screwed up thing to
and
do.
you're
I
gonna
have
play.
to say, like, there are certain kinds of bands where, like, if I just get a look at them, like, I know I'm not going to enjoy this at all. So maybe that was that was the case where it was just like, ooh, wow, like, this guy's setting up his washboard, and the other one's setting up like.
When has anyone ever said, "Oh, I can't play beer pong because the music's too loud"?
Right.
That's
True.
some bullshit.
Maybe he went over to the band and told them, look, I know that you guys are like the third or fourth best theremin dubstep band in the Bay Area,
Yeah.
but we're gonna play beer pong.
Yeah.
Like, I know you had your heart set on playing Loverboy covers all night, but like
Exactly.
we really
That would go
don't.
well with beer pong, I
It
think.
really
But
would.
get used to disappointment.
No, but then someone complained because they had a fan in the audience who then was a Yelp reviewer
There we go.
who said, "Hell with this beer pong."
Well, apparently they
It's
got
got
like a
hell
lot of like people who were pissed off.
They did. Well, but okay,
I'd
so
be pissed
Richard
off
C.
out of principle.
I'm pissed off right now.
I am. I could piss myself. Literally, I've
So
drank too much.
the one I'm going to read is from Richard C.
Richard
and,
C.
And you can call him Dick Cunt if you want.
All right.
That's what it says
Well, that's
to me.
what his mother called him.
It's about
But
right.
Richard C. says, this bar is awful, and I'll tell you why. Thanks, Richard.
Lay it on me, Richard.
It's a boring bar to begin with. I yawn every time I'm there, waiting for my friends to finish their drink so we can hit the next bar.
Maybe your friends are boring.
Well,
Yeah.
and like the thing that like says to me is like, well, somebody wanted to go to that bar, so you're basically a dick to your friends. Like you're basically
Yeah.
some guys like, hey, I want to go here, and you're like, I'm gonna yawn the whole time, and like
He
just
should
be a
take-
shithead about it.
He should
It's
take a nap before he goes to the bar. He's just
I-
not
well,
planning
that's-
ahead.
This
yeah.
guy's like next line's like, I
Yeah.
hate going to this bar. Every time I go there, my friends ditch me.
exactly.
It's the bar's fault.
Sure.
So he goes on to say, but what really put this bar on my shit list is one Saturday night when me and a couple of friends stopped in for a quick drink before last call. And as we know from bad Yelp reviews, if you're going to a bar
Yeah,
at
here
last
we
call, it's always going to be terrible. And someone that writes a bad Yelp review based on a last call experience is an idiot.
There
Like,
are so
out of the
many
gate.
bad Yelp reviews where it's like, it was 2:01 and they wouldn't serve me.
yeah.
And I'm
Right.
I'm an attractive looking woman.
And I'm the most important person in the world, or so I thought.
fuck those guys for not putting their liquor license in jeopardy.
So he goes on to say, but so we'll really put this bar on my shit list. So we stopped in before last call. I bought a round and gave the tall bartender with a hat on my check
there's
card.
only one of them.
Yeah.
And told him to close it out. Within 2 minutes, he managed to give my check card to another customer. When I asked him for it, he said, I gave it to you and blamed me for it, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so basically, Dick C, or Richard C, or Dick Cunt, goes on to complain about like his last call experience, which is typical and terrible of Yelp reviews.
I know I'm going off on a tangent here, but I just want to let you know that the mayor of my hometown, his name was Dick Johnson.
Was it really?
Yes, exactly. Like of course, the guy's name was like Richard Johnson.
Right.
And he was like, no, one euphemism for penis isn't enough for me.
Enough for you.
I'm going to go by Dick Johnson.
Name?
Cunt. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Big giant schlong.
Schlong.
Is his middle name?
All right, you ready for your final analysis?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew, what is your final analysis, Phil Joannou, of this bar?
It's a great space, and like I would love to see a band here or something like that because it's.
What if you came to watch beer pong?
Well, that's a good question. They have a Metallica pinball machine, which we've already discussed.
Yeah,
is
the
probably not the best
Metallica pinball machine is really ezy to get a free game on
Is it
because
really?
the floor is
tip.
like very slippery,
It's
so
unforgiving.
it's
It's a forgiving pinball machine.
Unforgiving.
I think it is the master of pinballs.
There you go. There, bring those puns out. Let's not.
Indeed.
Yes, the Metallica game is very easy to basically win because you can it's got a very low tilt on it and you can just you can go Ike Turner on that game and
Really?
it'll still let you play.
Domestic
Pinball
abuse.
tips, everybody.
Yeah.
But overall, I give it 28 stars
28 stars
Wow.
out of how many?
out of let's say 40.
Okay.
All right. There
Kevin,
it is.
what about your final analysis,
I
Phil
think
Joannou?
it seems nice to me. Right now it's nice, but it's like I need to see the bar in full action.
I'm really interested in Kevin's final analysis because you said this is the first time you've ever been here.
I've ever been here. It's
So you're a
right.
newbie.
I'm a newbie. I'll tell those, for that one person listening, that there are artistic skateboards on the wall. There are multiple ones. There's some kind of douchey dudes playing
What?
billiards.
No, that's impossible.
Some of
I
the
know.
douchiest.
It's North Beach, so you're shocked. There's a small stage for music. It's vacant right now. There's a white fan.
I think we're looking for more of opinions rather than just a
I'm really
description.
about,
I
I'm
think
really
we're
about
out-
interior
The
decoration.
wall is black.
Yeah. I'm about to tell you where the chords are located, so listen
no, okay.
closely.
No.
I cut you off. Never mind.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
and there are not enough electric outlets, so that's bullshit.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah, don't stop them. We have a lot of blind listeners.
You have a lot of blind listeners. They may not know where all the coat hangs are, and I'm the guy to tell them.
That's right, goddamn
I know it's fine. I mean, again, I'd have to come here once it's a little more busy, and then I can see what the scene is. I mean, it's a nice place to hang out.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I am also going to concur. I like this bar. They have a really good drink special. With their happy
They
hour
do.
drink
Yeah,
special,
they
where
do.
it's like
2 for 1, basically, right?
you get if you buy a drink, they give you a chip to get another drink later.
Right.
Which is also, it's funny because that's what they give you if you stay sober in AA.
Yeah.
So it's
Right.
so
Just try them.
don't get those chips mixed up.
Life plays
Yeah.
cruel jokes on you
Or get
sometimes.
those chips mixed up. I mean, that's the best way of doing it.
I forgot to tell this story. I was walking by this bar once a while ago. It was probably last year, and somebody came out of the bar and just vomited on the street. I mean, and he was smart enough to vomit into not on the sidewalk, but into the street.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, are
Classy
you okay?
man, yeah.
And he looks at me and goes, the Giants lost. I was like, well, they're gonna lose a game from
Right.
time to time.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I was drinking the whole time.
Yeah, maybe cut back on that.
Yeah, maybe. But I love this bar. They got a pool table. They got a chair.
There's
Like,
chairs.
okay.
Now you're getting into
No,
my
no.
territory, okay? Hey, I
They have,
own that.
A
There's some
chalkboard.
type of,
They have
like,
an eraser
oh,
for
sweet
the
maple
chalkboard.
wood.
Ceiling support. over
Yeah, it's well structured in here. Black walls. It's nice.
Some bits of tape on the window. I'm not fond of that.
There are no bed bugs here, in case you're wondering.
No,
I know it's
no,
always an
Right.
issue.
Well, not that you know
Such
about.
a nice place.
Yeah,
no
not that I know.
silverfish.
A silverfish, Jesus, yeah.
So do you have any plugs before we take off?
Oh, I did have a plug, but I can't remember what it
Oh,
was.
I was going to give a quick plug to Chucklepedia. Their most recent
Chucklepedia?
episode, they interviewed Matt Gubser, who seems like a very nice man, and
Seems.
he mentioned performing at Annie's, and he mentioned you, and he mentioned me actually, which like
What's
I-
Annie's?
I think
It's
I must have like
It's like a secret society of comedians. It's like it's an old like
A dead open
comedy
mic.
open mic comedy night that I used to run.
It's gone, though.
It's
is, yeah.
gone the way of the dodo.
Okay,
it
okay.
it spawned the careers of Caitlin Gill,
wow.
Janine Brito, amongst others.
Emily Heller.
Emily Heller, very
good. What's his name?
Steve Martin, George Carlin.
Female alt comics.
No, who's the little guy who never looks in your eye?
Hervé Villechaize.
No, he's got like Asperger's.
Brent Weinbach.
Wait,
No, whatever. I
Wait,
can't. I
big
can't.
guy?
There's a little guy,
Alex
little comedian. You know
Rahul
who he is.
Mukherjee.
he lives here or lives in LA?
He lives in L.A. now.
He's small? Is he curly hair?
Yes, curly hair.
Oh,
Alex
Elasis,
Yeah, Jesse Elias.
Jesse
Elias.
Elias.
Oh,
Jesse
okay,
Elias.
okay.
I saw Jesse Elias do his first comedy set ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Wow.
And we're gonna wrap up. All right. Do you have anything? Do you have any other plugs?
Yeah, I'm producing a show. You can listen to this too. Someone came from the billiards table. I produce a comedy show, co-produced that is, every second and fourth Saturday
At where?
at the Basement in the Tenderloin, 222 Hyde Street.
Oh yeah, I
It's
know
called
that
The
place.
Setup, and it's at 8 p.m. So it's free, so come check it out.
What's the cross street on Hyde?
How much?
Hyde and Ellis, I'd
right.
say it's like free plus $5.
For you,
$5.
it
It's
depends.
free, yeah. For you, we're not
For
sure.
you, the pond would be good for you.
yeah.
Friend prices, $200.
I'll give you a friendship bracelet.
Oh, there
How
we
about
go.
that? Yeah, isn't that sweet? 'Cause we're buddies. Summer camp forever.
My only plug is Jeff Cleary's trivia control demolition, and that happens at the Right Spot on May 6th.
I may go to that because I think I crush at trivia.
Kevin, you say that now.
I say that now.
Right,
Watch
exactly.
my
First
self-esteem
Wednesday
go
of
Kevin,
down.
each
all
month,
I
right?
would say is, like, if you crush it at trivia, I want you to come down.
What kind of trivia do you do? Like, is it just general trivia, or is it like...
Mostly like questions about chemtrails and the Illuminati.
I own that.
You know the truth.
Yeah.
Exactly. Real trivia. Like what's going on?
Bilderberg Group,
Like-
Bohemian Grove.
Who's in charge of America?
inside of me?
Yeah, okay,
each
great.
question begins with, I bet you didn't know this because you believe in the government.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a sovereign citizen, bitch. I haven't paid taxes in 10 years. Why don't you come out to my shed up in the mountains? My dogs will eat you.
If you win, you get to read my manifesto.
Exactly.
Perfect.
Exactly. It's written in Klingon. Let's do this.
All right. So, Kevin Whittinghill, thank you for being on the
Thanks
show.
for having
I've
me,
had
guys.
like
It was
such a
fun.
good
so much.
time.
Yeah, it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Woohoo.
And Andrew, you're fired.
Goddamn.
Again.
As usual. Every week.
Every week he's fired.
And I'm Jeff Cleary.
I'm Andrew Louder.
And
Kevin Whittinghill.
thanks for being on the show.
All right.